As we're going through the Bible book by book and chapter by chapter, we're in Exodus chapter 38. Now, when we look at this chapter, we're going to see some more furniture being built, and we're going to see the listing of some of the various materials that are used in the construction of the tabernacle. In particular, what you're going to see in chapter 38 is the making of the altar of burnt offering, which is going to be pretty significant, and there's going to be the bronze basin, or some translations may say the bronze laver. It's basically a giant bowl that's going to hold water, and there's going to be the court area for the tabernacle, the area where the sacrifices and the daily sacrifices are going to be taking place outside of the holy place and the most holy place where only the priests can go. Well, when we're looking through this chapter, and again, we're going to try and focus on spiritual things, but we can't help but notice all these physical implements and physical descriptions for all the various pieces of furniture. And we have to ask the question, why is this there? Is this stuff important for me to know? Well, yes and no. It was very important for the children of Israel to have, for the Hebrew people to have, because they needed to know how to build the tabernacle. They needed to know what went into making it. They needed to know what to use and why to use it. If these curtains are going to wear out throughout time, they need to know what kind of materials to use to replace them. And so it's important for them to have this information. It's not quite so important for people today. We can draw pictures, we can build scale models of the tabernacle. It's cool to look at. But is it really practical for my daily living as a Christian to know what kind of materials were used for the utensils in the temple? No, not really. And now there may be some overarching spiritual significance for some of the special metals that are used, but if there is, I really don't know what that would be, other than the fact that they're precious and they're valuable. Now as we go through this and we're trying to find the spiritual importance, the spiritual things that are being told to us, one of the things I'd like us to focus on is that all this stuff, all the fancy get-up, for one, it's holy. It's the most important. How many people own a bronze shovel? I've never seen one. We don't make shovels out of bronze because bronze is too valuable to make shovels. Well, how many people have all these fine linens that are draped to make their tent that they're going to be living in on a daily basis? Well, nobody does, because these things are too valuable. They're too precious. And so the construction of this tabernacle is made out of the things that are the most precious, because God is most holy. And so this tabernacle is set apart. It's different from all the other tents. The shovels are different from all the other shovels because they're being used to serve and to worship a God who is most holy, a God who is different from all the other gods. And so it makes sense that this particular tent, these particular utensils, these particular pieces of furniture will be very, very different from all the other things that Israel will see in their daily life. Another important spiritual note is that you take all these cool things, these bronze shovels, these bronze forks, this bronze altar, this ark that's covered with gold, and you look at all this cool stuff that's been sewn together to make the tapestry that will be the tabernacle, and it's just stuff. It's just stuff. There's nothing that makes it any more, spiritual than any of the other things. At the end of the day, it's dirt. At the end of the day, it's wood covered with rock. It's metal. It's mineral. That's all this stuff is. It's no different than anything else that you're going to run across. Well, wait a minute. You just said it was holy. You just said it was special. Yes, in a way it was. This is set apart for the service of God. This is Israel giving their best to the glory of God. But at the end of the day, really the best that you have to give is stuff that God already owns anyway. What is going to make the tabernacle special? What is going to set the tabernacle finally and ultimately apart from all the other tents? God will. It will be God's presence in the tabernacle that makes it holy. It will be God's worship that happens at the tabernacle that makes that altar of burnt offering, something special. That makes those bronze shovels something special. It's God who makes these things holy. It's God who makes these things special. And so as we're looking through this chapter at all the different things that are being brought together as they're being finished, we need to recognize and remember that just because stuff is expensive, just because it's flashy and nice and dapper, doesn't mean that it's more spiritual than anything else. God is the one who sets this stuff apart and makes it holy. And so as we're going through the Bible, book by book and chapter by chapter, that's Exodus chapter 38.